sources, the second most common source you will cite to will be legislation. Statutes are relatively straightforward to cite, but there are other materials surrounding the creation of legislation that will help you to paint a clearer picture of the purpose and intent behind the statutes you are discussing.
When citing a statute, you must include the title number, the abbreviation of the code cited, the section symbol, and the section or sections cited. If you're citing the entire statute, you must include the name of the act and the entire span of sections that contain the statute. If you're citing just a part of the statute or code, you do not include the name of the act. When citing to the United States Code, whether the official or unofficial version, the year is optional. For everything else, you must include the year. Many citations to statutes, codes, rules, and regulations use the section symbol. You can choose to insert a symbol from the menu in Word when you're typing, or for a quick shorthand, hold down the Alt key and type in 0167 on your number pad, then release the Alt key. On a Mac, hold down the Option key and press the number 6. Use two section symbols next to each other for the plural when listing multiple sections. If you are citing to an entire act that has been codified in one place in the U.S. Code, then you can cite to the name of the act, followed by the normal citation. But if the act has been codified in several parts or across more than one title of the U.S. Code, then you will want to cite to the bill as it was enacted rather than it was codified. You should still list the title of the act, but then cite to the session laws listing the public law number and the citation from the statutes at large. Use a parenthetical to explain where the statute was codified. Only state codes require a date. With federal codes, you can use a date if you wish. When using a date, the order of preference is the year on the spine of the volume, the year on the title page, and finally, the latest copyright page. If there is a range of years, give the whole range. If the volume is a supplement or replacement volume, give the year of the replacement, not the original. In Florida, you may need to refer to the Florida Style Manual and Rule 9.8000. When an official version of the statute has yet to be codified or is no longer good law, you will refer to the session law. Session laws require the name of the statute, the public law or chapter number, volume number, abbreviated name of the session law, relevant pages, year passed or effective, and the codification information. When citing an entire act, give the first page, but when citing only part of the act, give the section and the page number on which the relevant part begins. Federal session laws are printed in the statutes at large. Florida session laws are printed in the laws of Florida. See Rule 9.800 of the Florida Style Manual on how to cite those. Generally, you will refer to Rule 18 for online sources. However, here is a quick note on how to cite online statutes. When citing to a commercial database, make sure to parenthetically include the name of the database, the currency of the information, which is not the same as the year of the code, and the name of the publisher, editor, or compiler, unless it is published, edited, or compiled under the supervision of federal or state officials. Official or exact copies of an online source can be cited to as though it were in print. This is why Lexis and Westlaw can't be cited the same as the U.S. Code. Lexis has the U.S. Code Service, and Westlaw has the U.S. Code Annotated. They are not the same as the official source, so you should try to avoid citing to them. You can access the U.S. Code online via govinfo.gov or the U.S. House website. States will also have their statutes posted somewhere on their official government website. There are a number of special forms listed under Rule 12 that cover the body of federal law that acts like legislation but might not be in the U.S. Code. Take a look at these examples. It isn't necessary to memorize these forms, just know that you can find them under Rule 12. If you have a local ordinance, treat it like other statutes, listing the title of the code you are referring to, the section number, and the year. Note, however, that the court rules and local ordinances make use of small caps in the white pages. So we've covered statutes and other code provisions, but there are other materials surrounding the creation of legislation that will help to paint a clearer picture of the purpose and intent behind the statutes you are discussing. Many of these are very lengthy documents, so citations to them need to be specific. As a group, these documents are often referred to as the legislative history, but the individual documents have different sources depending on their place of publication. Unenacted federal bills and resolutions require the name, abbreviated name of the House, number of the bill or resolution, number of Congress, section, and year of publication. Enacted federal bills and joint resolutions should be cited as statutes. The exception to this is when you want to show legislative history. In this case, you would cite it as an unenacted bill or resolution. If your resolution is simple or concurrent, cite it as an unenacted bill, with the enactment noted parenthetically. State bills and resolutions require the name and number of the legislative body, the number of the bill or resolution, the legislative session, the state, and the year of enactment or publication. Abbreviations for everything can be found in the tables. Congressional hearings produce reams of paper discussing legislation, so the citations need to be specific enough for your reader to be able to locate your reference among a large volume of paper. This means including a lot of information in your citation: the title and bill number, then the committee and subcommittee, if any, then the number of Congress, the page number, and the year. A parenthetical should also be included describing whose remarks you are citing to. Take a look at the example from the Bluebook shown here. It's quite long, but all of this information is necessary to locate the source. Most congressional reports and documents have a slightly shorter citation because they are numbered very specifically. Look at the example above. Notice that the abbreviations used by FITSIS are not the same as those used by Bluebook. So be careful when citing to these types of documents. The numbering is by the number of Congress and not by the year. The congressional record contains transcripts of floor debates dating back to the 1800s. The citation will sometimes look unusual because the pages are numbered continuously. It isn't unusual to see page numbers in the tens of thousands. You will often see one of 4 different letters before the page number: S for Senate, H for House, D for Daily, or E for Extended Remarks. These prefixes are left in if you are citing to the daily edition of the congressional record, which contains the most recent records. The prefix will be dropped when you cite to the permanent edition. Unlike the reports and documents, the Bluebook uses the same abbreviation as FITSIS. Legislative materials go hand in hand with administrative materials, which we will look at in the next video. Many of them are located through the same websites, so they should seem familiar now that you've had experience with FITSIS and the GPO website.